Okay, guys, it's a nice Thursday. So we're expecting about 10 more people. But guys, I want to introduce Dustin to you. He's our new associate. So Dustin, if you want to go ahead, maybe just really quick kind of, where they are, what the project is. We did make reference to glamping. I know you said it's kind of a little
Yep,
bit different. Kind of maybe that kind of presentation before you kind of go into what you need investment
sure.
wise and so people can kind of get excited. And obviously we have 125 people in the group. We'll post it. I'll actually post in the morning, and then I'll blow it up. So then I'll connect you to Glenn and all the life changing people and all the people, the key people. There's a great opportunity to start to reach all of our people because not everyone makes it on Thursday night.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, so it's kind of a glamping project. It's like to think it's like a little more than that. Like it's halfway between a hotel and glamping. So we've gone through an evolution, but the basic idea is that it's a hospitality place. Um, Landscape hotel is kind of the trendy term, but it's probably the most accurate. They're very nature focused and focused on the place where we're putting them. So the idea is that instead of putting them just anywhere like glamping, a lot of times people will set up a dome or some canvas tents or something where they live or nearby. We're really focusing on national parks, or we're also going to the Adirondacks. It's not a national park, it's a state park, but it has the draw of a national park. So we have basically a captive audience every year of millions of visitors, and really looking at markets that are probably on the underserved side. So you think of like Zion, Moab, Arches in Utah. That's like the mecca of glamping, and it's getting to the point of saturation. So right now anyway, we're not planning on doing anything there. Um, so our kind of the idea was that we'd be a competitor for an Under Canvas, if you're familiar with them. So they do kind of like luxury tents. They've
Yeah.
got like West Elm furniture and things like that, and a little central area with grills and things. Um, but what we want to kind of take it to the next level, because glamping kind of started in the last like less than 10 years, and it really took off during COVID.
Yeah.
People wanted to get out of the cities, they wanted to get out in nature, fresh air, all that stuff. So, and it hasn't slowed down since. So it just continues to grow and grow. But I think there's this niche in the market, this gap between the kind of tents and the fabric domes and being in a hotel, right? So you want to be kind of out in the nature, like glamping, but if you want the amenities of a hotel, a nice hotel, that's where we fit in. So the units, and again, like I said, it's evolved. We were looking at like little cabins and domes, but in a kind of like a modern, higher end way. But now we're really going to just shift, and we basically have cabins. And but what these cabins are, and I can show pictures if I can share the screen. But
Yeah. Let me give you that so you can. And the
um,
best way for me to do it is have you co-host and then you can just post it yourself.
so
Uh,
they're floor to ceiling glass, modern units, heated floors, air conditioning, kitchenette, like anything you would expect out of a very nice hotel. But it puts you out in nature. So um, we've got three sites we're starting with, and the idea is basically to turn this into a business, not just like a lot of the glamping things. They're one location. So this would be a scaled business. So we're looking at probably 2 to 3 locations every 12 to 18 months. Um, so the team has folks that have experience with short-term rentals, with hotels. We've got a guy who's an executive in marketing, so he's got the marketing side of things. Um, Development and construction guys, and I'm an architect, so I'm designing our units. So we'll have
okay.
unique units, and they're all going to be ADA accessible, which is a big problem right now with glamping. Um, Went to the glamping show there in Denver in the fall, and there's turning into a niche for lawyers to sue these places
Oh,
because you have, Under Canvas at their Glacier location has 60 tents, and none of
yeah.
them are accessible. It's all steps up to them. There's no grab bars in the bathrooms and things like that. So we're going to avoid that entirely. We're going to make everything accessible. Um, And we're also going to have a pavilion building, which is kind of a catch-all for all the amenities that you'd want at a resort. So, and it's going to change by location. But for the Glacier location, we're going to have kind of a general store, cafe. Will be a barista in there. There's going to be a really nice lounge space. There's a roof deck. We're imagining having like local vendors come out, do kind of a profit share model, and run yoga classes, fly tying classes. The site is about 3 minutes from the Flathead River, which is one of the best fly fishing rivers in Montana and
Yeah.
the world. And we're right by the park. So we're about 10, 15 minutes from Glacier National Park from the west entrance. And where this site, it's 80 acres. It looks across the valley towards the park. So you got these huge mountains in the background that are all snow capped. You can see Lake McDonald from the site, which is kind of you see the tourist pictures of Glacier. There's always this lake with the
Yeah.
multicolored stones. That's it. So it's just an incredible site. All kinds of wildlife. We're putting in private trails for the guests. And then the site in Arizona, which would be quickly on the heels of that first site, we're going to have private pools. There's going to be probably spa services at the pavilion. The architecture will always like kind of be the glass view look for the units,
Yeah.
but the pavilion building may vary. We'll use materials that speak more to the sites, and I get all architecty with it. But so anyway, just places that have a lot of traffic for short-term rentals, but not a ton of competition. So like the Arizona site's in about an hour and 15 from Vegas. So if you live in Vegas, and there's, I forget what is now like a couple million people that live there, it's a great, which is weekend trip, come out there for a long weekend. But you also have an international airport. So you want to visit the Grand Canyon, you fly into Vegas.
Yeah.
Or you can fly into Phoenix, but it's 3.5 hours. And then you go to a different entrance to the Grand Canyon. So we're up by Grand Canyon West. They've got the glass bridge that looks out over the rim of the canyon. There's
Yeah.
helicopter tours. It's like 12 minutes from our site. Just covered in Joshua trees. It's beautiful. And then the third site is Lake George in the Adirondacks in New York. So, obviously there's a huge population base in the Northeast. Lake George is the most popular spot in the Adirondacks for vacationing. About 6 million visitors annually. And it's also, beautiful site. I can show a picture of it. So that's kind of like the 30,000 foot picture of the project.
Okay.
So I can run through stuff real quick.
Yeah. That looks awesome.
So this is a rendering we
Yeah.
have done, but these are the units. And then on the right side here, this is the pavilion building. Kind of see in there. It's the cafe.
Yeah. That's kind of cool concept.
Yeah. So the idea is that the mirror finish on the glass reflects the trees and everything.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's there. People say it disappears. It's not going to disappear, but it's, more so than a building
Well,
standing.
that gives it a really cool effect. And obviously, where I live in Colorado, I mean, if it's Montana, I can kind of imagine it because I live in the
Yeah.
same kind of place.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's kind of nice. I think that'd be kind of cool, relaxing, a nice place to visit.
Yep. And so each unit is going to have either an ofuro, which is like a Japanese hot tub,
Yeah,
something into the deck, or a sauna, and the sauna will match the units with the mirrored glass. So there's some examples of interiors. About market trends. I won't bore you with it, but can go into detail if anybody is interested.
yeah,
So, looking at, like it says, 25 to 60 units per site. So the Glacier site, we're planning on 30, Grand Canyon 40, Lake George probably around 30. And then, there's a lot of national parks. There's a lot of places to expand in the future. So the ultimate play, aside from the cash flow these things throw off, which is projected to be great. I mean, you imagine it's kind of like short-term rental STR cash flow, but at a small multifamily scale. And as
yeah,
scale it up nationally, not so small multifamily. So a lot of cash flow, but the real thing at the end of this is, 5 to 7 years, we're at 12 to 15 sites. The projected buyout at the end, to give you an idea, under Canvas sold, they had 3 locations. They were grossing about 7 million annually. and they sold for over 100 million. So, if we're at 12 to 15 sites, 5, 7 years from now, whatever it is, you're looking at easy 300, 500 million. So there's a big payoff at the end as well, in addition to the cash flow. She's their partners. There I am.
Yeah.
So some experience in the team. Like I mentioned in Utah, very busy. These are always full, pulling great average daily rates. And so, again, I can go into detail if anybody's interested, but where the stack is, we're trying to leverage debt as much as we can. The debt market right now, the rates are a little high, but it's nothing that's like really throwing numbers off greatly
Yeah.
because of the cash flow. And so this is an example. This would be, kind of on the conservative side, shows 11 sites at the end at exit. But we're looking at, company-wide return of, based on these projections, 18x multiplier. And then this is, again, this is based on conservative numbers. So as you scale, your expenses go down as a percentage overall.
Yeah.
I should mention, we've got a professional third-party management company on board. They've been kind of acting as a consultant, but as we get the sites up and running, they'll actually be the property manager. They do the hiring and firing and sourcing the food and all that stuff. But they're Q Hospitality Management, and they work on glamping projects and landscape hotels and things like that. So this is right up their alley. They're based in Missoula, Montana, but they work nationally. They're doing stuff in Cape Cod and Asheville, North Carolina, and San Diego. So they work everywhere.
Yeah, that looks good. Pretty good
Yes.
presentation.
Market growth. There's a little bit about Under Canvas, and they sold to KSL, which is a New York-based private equity firm. Sarah, the founder, she kind of stayed on as like a board member basically, but hasn't said exactly what it sold for, but she said over 100 million in a couple of interviews.
Yeah.
So target markets, left side, Glacier, Grand Canyon, Lake George, those are the ones in process, and other ones that we would probably be targeting on the right side. And these are just, a sample. There's a lot in this country. We've talked about internationally. We're working with somebody who's looking at some capital raising for us that, he's got some property down in Tulum in Mexico. It's like, we got to put one down there. Puerto Rico, so there's potential. It'd be nice to put in a tropical place. So
We just had a conversation about Tulum a couple weeks ago.
Yeah,
We got a couple people in our group that are interested in it.
it's a hopping
Yes,
place.
it's definitely in Puerto Rico for me, for Ruben. I've been interested in, because I follow a realtor that hosts his distressed properties. I know I came in at 710, so I'm not too sure what the conversation's about, but I'm really interested in connecting with a hard money lender that's willing to assisting with acquiring deals in Puerto
Yeah.
Rico, obviously in touristic areas.
So Ruben's and Dustin's with a group, they're actually building these they're kind of like glamping. It's really like a really high end. I mean, this is really nice quality stuff. So Dustin, Ruben is actually pursuing a project right now up by West Point in New York. So that's kind of
Okay.
close to what you're doing up in New York.
Yeah,
He's
so I'm in
yeah.
Syracuse, so I'm about probably 2 hours from there, not too far.
Yeah, he's working on a project in Newburgh.
In Newburgh, New York. I got a property under contract. Numbers are fire, and I'm looking for funding on the property, hard money. But I have a unique situation where my credit flunked, and I'm under 500, but my wife is over 800. For a situation I was in, so I'm trying to look to creatively
Yeah.
to purchase
So
it. And go ahead, Nate. Sorry.
So Casey's not going to be on tonight, but he did talk. He is going to reach out to you tomorrow. I think you
Okay.
did you send that form to him? So that way I can get back to Dustin's real quick because he's got limited time to do this presentation.
Yes,
But
no problem. Sorry.
I'm trying to get him in. We're trying to get him like more investors and lenders. So yeah, no, but I was just mentioning that you got that project in Newburgh, so you guys are kind of close. So that's kind of cool. that kind of to work together.
For
So
sure.
yeah, so right now, I mean, Justin, where are you guys at? Do you guys have raised? I mean, you have obviously made the purchases and stuff. Do you
Yeah,
have?
so we were doing a 506c raise, syndication raise. Um, we got about 1.5 million. We had our construction loan lined up with the local bank there in Montana. We'd like to work with local vendors and lending companies and things like that. So they're local. They're based out of Kalispell, which is up there in Montana.
Yeah,
But anyway, we bought this property. It was just under 2 million. And anything real estate up there is it's just crazy. The average house price in Whitefish, which is like the closest city, is like $2 million. It's just,
yeah,
you wouldn't believe what stuff goes for up there. Um, so anyway, we bought the land. We got a land loan that was going to be it's about 50% of, or 55% of the cost of the land. We paid the rest in cash. And then that was going to get taken out by the construction loan. The construction loan got all approved. We were good. We're going through the process with the state DEQ and the county. They're, as you might imagine, very protective of the water and natural resources in Montana,
yeah.
as they should be. It's particularly difficult down by Yellowstone because the groundwater all comes back up through the geysers and everything. We don't have that around Glacier, but still, statewide, they're very protective. But it's just a long process, long bureaucratic process, and you just have to kind of work with them in their way. But basically it's taken so long now that the land loan we got is coming up due soon. And so we can't get the construction loan to pay them off until we get the septic approval, which is tied up by DEQ reviews. So right now we're trying to get out of that, pay off that loan like we need to, and kind of just cover that until everything's done with DEQ. Everything's been fine. It's just slow. So we got approval on our flow calculations, and we got approval on our well location. So all these other components that go into it. So that's kind of our need right now is, whatever that looks like. Either it's a land loan or it's hard money with a decent term, something like that to kind of bridge this divide between when we have to close out this current loan and when we can get our construction loan started.
What I want to do is I'm gonna obviously get the whole video tonight, the life changing, and I'll get it to some of the other people in our group that are mostly our lenders. Some of them may come on. So I usually open the floor so anybody has any ideas, and I'll kind of introduce people around too, so you kind of know who they are, whether they help others or not. Sometimes they have other people, but I think honestly, life changing would be great at trying to get this done. So I can get it to Clint and Ryan, who are both the owners, as well as Casey and Addison and Chris and Tam, who are four of their loan officers. They have six people in our group, so we're pretty fortunate. They get a lot of stuff done for our group.
Okay.
I think that'd be awesome to look at the hard money now on the doing capital raising, doing it, going that other direction. I think there's possibly some people in the group that might be interested in it. So, like I said, I want to try to get it to them, get the presentation, and then I'll probably introduce you to all of them. Like it'll be four, like I'll put Clinton, Ryan, as well as Casey and Addison, at least those four, because Casey and Addison kind of work together as a team. And then anybody else that's interested in it, you guys can. We got 4 or 5 people on right now that are in the group. We should have another 4 or 5 come on in the next 30 minutes or so. As we get some, we're all over the country, so we get some people on the West Coast that'll come in late and stuff like that, and then we have people on the East Coast that leave early because it's going to be 8 o'clock pretty soon there.
Yep.
So yeah, so I mean, I really like it. I really like to try to get this into life changing because the fact that they're still open to that hard money. I mean, they got more options, and Sean is kind of is coming in and out, so he can kind of attest to the fact that they have the ability to do debt and equity raises. They can do the hard money, and they can also help with investors and stuff. So definitely, that's why I'm pretty excited about this. I think, with your glacier, obviously that's more, seems to be more of a time is a time factor more on the glacier one
Yeah,
than on the other two.
we've
Okay.
we've got really great seller financing lined up for the Grand Canyon and Lake George properties.
Okay.
Just surprisingly, both of them, they're different sellers, obviously, but they both decided, to work with us. We got 6% on them. We've got to put a chunk down on Grand Canyon soon. But yeah, I think Glacier's probably the bigger rush at the moment.
Well, cool. So I think that's we gotta, I think that's really, I'm pretty happy with it. I like it. Let's see if we got any ideas. Anybody have any input in it?
I'd
Anybody
love
have
to
any?
hear watch from the beginning. If we can just upload it somewhere so I can rewatch and see what they're looking
Yeah,
for.
I'll upload the whole Zoom. We're doing the whole Zoom. Um, he can actually show you guys,
Perfect.
yeah, from the beginning. So that's what they look like. This is Glacier, so up in Montana. So obviously Zeke's close because he's in Wyoming. So this is a great I love that mirrored look. That's great because that just reflects, that kind of makes it, you were saying earlier it doesn't like camouflage it, but it still kind of has that cool effect
Yeah.
that
And it's
you,
cool too. I mean, you imagine you wake up in the morning and
yeah.
there's a elk or something outside your room, like right there, and they can't see you. So you could actually get up close to an
Yeah, because
animal.
some of the research I've
Essentially.
done on glamping showed the tents were almost clear, and I was like, I didn't really understand why people would want to sleep in like clear, it almost looked like clear plastic. This is
Yeah, the
this is the
dome
research
killer.
I just did since I talked to you first. This is the research I did before because I just started coming up glamping, and I was like, this is I live close to the Pike National Forest, and we had a my family had a cabin up there until my grandparents died 20 years ago, and it was like the Pike Forest would be awesome. They had a few places up there. They had some regular camps and stuff like that and campgrounds, and I was thinking about that when I started talking to you a couple of days ago. I started thinking about this there. It's obviously different. It's different. It's a little further away than the Rocky Mountain National Park, but it's probably an hour and a half
Yeah.
from Rocky Mountain. Because I live in that part of Colorado, so it's like
Yeah.
I live in the foothills right above Denver, so it's kind of cool.
Yeah, you
Um,
find us some land outside of Estes Park or something there, Nate.
oh yeah, yeah, Estes is nice. I've actually, believe it or not, I've actually never been to Estes, even though I grew up in Colorado. Um, but I've been all over. I used to work for the Steamboat Springs Fire Department and stuff like that. So I've been all over the Colorado that was. So I think it's fitting great. Anybody here have any Ruben, I know you just had some good follow up. And Anita, Jetta, uh Edith, anybody have any good this is kind of a really interesting concept for you guys that are more experienced. Zeke, Anita.
Well, I will tell you that I noticed the one kind of in the Grand Canyon. I know there are a few hospitals not too far from there where I know the traveling nurses that'll probably take them up on that glamping.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's what Anita does, traveling nurses.
Okay.
So she's so we have that's the good thing about our group is everybody does similar things, real estate wise, but they're doing a different niche, which is great. So you get a lot of different experiences, which is kind of cool. We're not locked into one thing. But I honestly think this is great. I'll get the presentation, the whole Zoom. I'll get it for the whole group, and I'll get it out to Life Changing as well as like Gwen. I don't know if Gwen will come on tonight. She's our Gap in EMD. Told you about her. She used to be Federal Reserve. So she has a lot of contacts, as well as Paul Vincent, who's actually a securities and syndication attorney. So he may know some people that are, I think we can put this together pretty quick. I think life changing, and I have to get you Casey's form or Addison's form. You just fill it out real quick and then send it to them so they can track it. And I think we can put it in there. We can put it right into life changing's in their, in their program.
Do
So
you have any places set up around the Ozarks just yet around
No, not
Branson,
yet.
anywhere like that?
No. No, I mean we're open to ideas. I think, we'll have our hands full opening the first three, but it'll be one of those things we have to keep the pipeline full. So one opens, we can start working on the next one. The entitlements and permitting are going to vary. They're all in different states, and they're all different. Even within states, they're going to be different. So, Yellowstone will be different than Glacier. So some of them are going to be more time consuming than others. I think we're probably starting at the most difficult one in the country at Glacier. Yellowstone probably would be as well. But like Arizona, we did a zone change before we executed the contract. The seller, worked with us. And so we got the zone change, so now we can build by right. And basically everything down there now is kind of an administrative application for building permit and well and things like that. So
And then do you have I mean, you're buying obviously from private entities, right? You're not dealing with having to do like contracts with the parks.
Oops, sorry, say that again.
So you're buying the properties from private entities. So you're not having to do
Yes.
anything with like the parks having to
Right.
approve it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, there are some places, there's one in Glacier that I know of that we had looked at buying initially that's on land that's leased from the state of Montana.
Yeah.
So they get like a 99-year land lease. We didn't end up doing that place partly because the land lease is a little weird and then it's hard to value it at the end. You sell something that's on leased land, it's a little different. But up there there's a lot of mountains obviously, and everything runs through the valley. So you get like the main road, the train tracks, the river, everything gets, falls to the valleys. And so
Yeah.
that place was, right off the road, which was right next to the train tracks. And so, you're woken up it's the main line between Chicago and Seattle. So you get woken up at 2 a.m. because there's a train outside
Well,
your
and
fabric home.
that'd be interesting because I think also it kind of can affect financing because people will be like, if you're leasing from the government or something, it can affect, people, know that, hey, you're leasing it from the public or, what happens at the end of the lease, do you lose everything that you built, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. A lot of people wouldn't understand that. I mean, to be something a little bit of a conversation people have to have ahead of time. So that just eliminates that whole problem at the beginning. Because I've studied a little bit about some national. I mean, I had a client a few years ago that was trying to buy a property, and it was like it was like a strip mall at a gas station and stuff up by between Jackson and Poland and Yellowstone. So I kind of knew
Well,
that, that's kind of they had some issues with the national park. Having to get
you
some
will have
permits.
no shortages of places to put up glamping areas in the United States, I'm sure.
Yeah.
These are good, incredible sites. I mean, when you're talking about the numbers just on the people, the tourists and stuff I mean, I think, honestly, guys, I think looking at this, I mean, I'm pretty excited myself. I think it's great because I think it's just people are looking for this kind of stuff. And I think it alleviated, because like I just said a few minutes ago, my experience with glamping was just looking at it a couple of years ago. I think it was during COVID, whenever, like, with everybody was looking to get outside.
Yep.
And I think I looked at it and I kind of didn't have a really great impression of it because it looked more like I don't know, it looked like it was like you'd set up for like an event or something, like a wedding or something, like the tents and all that stuff. And I just wasn't sure. This is very nice. This will
I
make
mean,
very, yeah.
yeah, it's crazy because like, under Canvas, I use them as an example because they happen to be in Glacier as well, but they're also down in the valley by the road. But it's a tent, right? So there's no sound insulation, there's no real anything insulation. So Montana's weird. It'll be 90 degrees during the day in the summer, but it'll be 40 at night because the air is so dry, it just cools right off. And there's a wood stove for heat, but you have to wake up during the night. It's this little tiny stove. You have to stoke the fire. And I mean, I'll do it because I like camping and stuff. My wife wouldn't. But these are, if it was like $100 a night, okay, they're $350 a night for a tent. Some of them don't even have private bathrooms or shared bathrooms. And then the few nights there's availability during the summer, I mean, they are like 98, 99% booked. They surge price them up to like 700, 750 a night for a tent.
I looked at the one I looked at a couple of years ago. I didn't even see restrooms. That wasn't even something I looked at. And now you just piqued my interest. It's like, what the hell was, I might as well just like go pay for it, put up my own tent somewhere or rent an RV or something. Where this
Yeah.
is totally good because you don't have to feel like, you're still outdoors, but you have, you're not totally outdoors. You know,
Yeah.
you still have some protection. I'm sure it's weather protection a lot more than having a tent. It's like I said, my experience was I was looking at it going, this is like when I used to have to inspect tents when I was a fire marshal. You know, it's like I'd inspect all the events tents for weddings and concerts and stuff, and it was ridiculous. You know, it kind of looked like that. So this is totally awesome. I think we can definitely, we got the group to get this out. 125 people. So there's a lot of connections that our people have, as well as, getting into life changing. So like to probably be, I'll probably have to I'll make the connection in the morning with you and Casey. I'll just hit you both up on Messenger. It's kind of like usually when I post a video. So I post this for the whole group on YouTube and it's not on YouTube, but I use YouTube just because it's free. Then I can post it in our group for our group, and it stays quiet. Everybody can attest that our group is pretty good about security. It's a private group, so then I can try to make sure a lot of people have seen it, so they can comment on it. That they saw your presentation a lot, and then try to make a contact with you and Casey Hagedorn from Life Changing in the Morning, and get you in touch with them and Addison, who's his partner there, and then they can start working on it maybe from a lending point. And then if their boss is Quentin Ryan thinks they've got investors, we go the other way. I mean, that gives you with life changing, it gives you more than just one route to go,
Yeah.
which
No,
is
that's
nice,
great.
which is what you want. You want a lot of flexibility because there's times they come back and people are blown away. If Sean comes back on, he can tell you they work some they've done some deals where it's like I can't believe they actually did that deal. So they give people actually 100% financing on some deals. But they like to qualify people, don't advertise it.
Yeah.
Other people that have dealt with them, besides the group, I know Edith's in here. She's loaning EMD funds through one of our associates through with Life Changing involved. So I don't know, Edith, you're in California, but you do a lot of stuff in that area that he's going to be in with Arizona.
He's in Arizona. Okay.
Well, one of the locations will be in Arizona, the other one will be in Montana, and the other one in New York, and then they'll be opening others around the country like Colorado and stuff.
I missed a little bit of the beginning. So are you trying to are you looking for capital or even JV? I'm sorry, I missed the beginning of this.
No, it's fine. Yeah, so we're kind of at a point right now where we need to transition out of a land loan that we've got about 55% LTC, and just kind of either whether that's capital or if it's lending, and to get us to the point where we're good to get our construction loan, which is approved but waiting for the septic approval, which in Montana is like the key approval, and it has to go through the state DEQ. Every septic application in the state has to go through them, so it's a real bottleneck. So yeah, we're looking for some funds there, and it could come in a couple different ways.
Okay, got it. Okay, I'll have to look at the video on this then. Okay.
Yeah,
But
I'll post it.
that's
We'll post it in the morning, and then obviously Dustin is in the group now, Edith. So if you have more questions, or you're any interest, reach out
Yeah.
and I'll put you in
okay.
touch with him directly. So
Yeah, and these are all
yeah, because I want to put him in touch with Glenn too. I want to put him in touch with Glenn. So,
okay. Yeah. Yeah, I'll have to definitely look at the video because it looked like a nice development, the idea and everything. So you're still on land, nothing's started,
Right.
or
So
do you already have some already running as short-term rentals?
not yet. I mean, as a team, we've got other properties, but as like Glassview, this project, no. The site in Montana, we've done site clearing. We've got a road in. We've got all our GC on board and all of that. But we can't actually build anything until we get the septic approval.
Correct.
You can push dirt and cut down trees and things like that, but anything else is not allowed yet. So
Okay. Looks beautiful. It's going to be a great project.
yep. So I'm
Yes.
going to put him in touch with Glenn and put him in touch with Life Changing.
Great. Yeah.
So
Okay.
cool.
I'll definitely look at this. Nice meeting you, Dustin.
You too.
Cool. Yeah, I love this. I love the way this looks. I mean, this is great. Anybody else have any feedback? I know Zeke's on Jenna. You got it.
Feel free to grill me.
Yeah. Zeke, you got any ideas? Got any? What do you think about it?
I think it's a great idea. You know, like you were saying earlier, the renting out tents for $350. They're doing that up here on the reservation. They put
Yeah.
up some teepees, and
Yeah.
they're living like the old Indians do. You know, you go squat on the dirt to go to the bathroom and go down to the creek to take a shower, and you live in a teepee, and they're still like $300 a night.
Yeah. So Dustin, so Zeke's in Lander, Wyoming. So he's
Okay.
not too far from Montana.
Yeah.
So he's actually probably between me and you. So right there in the middle. So we're trying to find some Wyoming some properties for him because it's a little hard, a little scarce in those states to finding a lot of properties available.
Yeah, we
Yep.
looked at some land outside of Jackson, but my God, is that
Oh,
expensive?
that's yeah.
Like $10 million for 5 acres. I mean, it's
They're saying that Jackson Valley is the highest priced land in the country right now.
believe it.
Yeah, it's right up there with Aspen.
The average home in Jackson just hit $7.2 million.
So yeah, so I mean my game plan is just to get this posted up and then put you in connection with those people with Life Changing with Glenn, who's our she's got a lot of connections from her time at the Federal Reserve. One of her projects, which she set up the community engagement wing, which deals with a lot of this kind of stuff that people wouldn't think the Federal Reserve would be involved in, but they are. And that was before she retired. So that's how I met her through my business partner who would be on right now. So Gwen is another one. Like I said, she does our EMDR gap funding coordination and all that. So we're gonna make all those connections for you. And then hopefully we can get this thing at least get Glacier going for you. Because
Yeah.
that's kind of like the proof. Yeah, this would be awesome.
Yeah, I mean,
So,
Glacier's tough too because it's a very seasonal construction out there, as you can imagine. Winter
Yeah.
comes, it stays late. But Grand Canyon, depending on the timing of our septic approval and financing and all that, we may have to, like I said, we've started on the site, but to build the buildings may have to wait until the spring. We'll see how it goes. But Grand Canyon doesn't have that problem, right? Their frost depth there, the maximum frost depth is 3 inches. So we can build year round. So that one may actually, kind of pull into the lead. We'll see how things go.
Yeah, that'd be kind of a cool, interesting area. And then obviously New York could be kind of cool too. So I think it'd be a nice area. I think every place you've got on your, eventually too is awesome. Like to see the one at Rocky Mountain. Yeah,
Yep.
that'd be a good area to build in up by Estes. So that'd be nice. A lot of good stuff in Colorado. So yeah, man, I'm pretty excited about it. I'm really glad you came aboard because I think honestly this could be a long-term thing as well for
Yeah, no,
your
I
team.
appreciate
Working a
you
lot of
letting
because
me do
we're
it.
building reindeer. I basically talked about it a little bit with you on the phone, and that's going to be uncapped, and we're going to be bringing in. I mean, literally, people will be able to start subscribing in June at $99 a month, and at some point, you guys could have a section there where you talk about it. The other thing I was going to suggest is the Agents Gather, which I briefly mentioned. My friend Danny runs, and he'll give you an account there, and you guys can go and promote this all over there, and he can help you with SEO and optimization, which can get it out even more. And he'll trade that for you. You could set up you could actually run the whole, you know, anything close to glamping on that, as the niche because it's open ended right now. It's a brand new thing. So I'll try to put you in touch with Danny as well. He's great at SEO and optimization, and like I said, he'll just trade you a premium account for you guys posting stuff about this as you go, and that can help you also because you'll have he's really good. Before he did real estate. If you go to his website, Agents Gather, but before he did real estate, he was an SEO optimization guy before people even knew what it was. So a lot of people in our group are like #1 on Google for their like area or whatever they're doing. So
That's great.
he just does a free trade for you, and
We're
we're gonna be
doing,
yeah,
sorry.
no, that's cool.
I was saying we're working with a marketing company right now. We've got Got
Yeah.
an Instagram page, of course, and Facebook, working on a website. It's got, a landing page right now, but it's going to be a really nice website out probably within the next 30 days or less. But yeah, so SEO would be something that would help us.
Oh no,
Sure.
and he would definitely do it. Let you guys put on there for free and just you basically just go post it on there. He goes in after the post and kind of fix it. If anything needs to be fixed, he just does it automatically. He won't be able to do that at a certain point when he's so busy. And he's got because we're projecting. I mean, we're gonna be bringing a lot of people on through LearnDash, which is the platform we're using on it. It connects to the API, and it'll be uncapped. People would pay $99 a month, and then we're gonna be 125 people are going to share in the revenue, not just the profit. So we're going to put $45 a month per prescription into 2 different pools so everybody should get some mailbox money. It's not going to be a lot. I mean, eventually you get 10,000 subscribers. It could be 1,000, 1,500, 2,000 a month per person, which, some people that's really big money. And some people it's just like, hey, it helps. We want everybody to get paid for being in this group at some point, everybody pay off. We had a lot of success. We got more deals in the works than I ever keep track of. So what I try to do is also, once I get you connected and all that, I kind of like pull back because otherwise I'd be in like 30 or 40 threads. My phone would be going bing, bing for the whole day. So, I really am going to put you in touch with these guys at Life Changing in the Morning and let them kind of go through the process. So I'll send you Addison's link. You just go in there and put a little information, push send, it goes to her. So they track it and then she'll follow up with you, connect you with Gwen, and then we'll post this in the morning and I'll tell people that, they can reach out to you in the group or they can reach out to you in Messenger. You might start getting a lot of people. And then obviously there's some people on tonight. So I'm pretty excited, dude. Looks pretty kick ass.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be an awesome project. Just gotta get
Oh,
it started, gotta get in the ground. But
yeah, I mean, you get one, then the other ones are just because people are gonna be like, you can almost think you could almost like do something where people get like some kind of card or some kind of thing where they could go to multiple different ones and, you kind of get something like that in the future, go visit all of our, you got 12 of them, go visit all of our 12 or get a stay free
Yeah.
or something.
Yep.
There's a whole
Yeah,
lot of possibilities.
Yeah, we've got an interior designer on board who's helping with the finishes inside, and she works a lot with Win and other groups. She lives in Vegas, so they're right in their backyard. But she did Win's new facility 5 years ago or something in Macau. So she knows the hospitality market intimately, and what to specify and what not to specify for durability and luxury textiles and all that kind of good stuff. But we've talked about that, like what's the Glassview branded freebie that people can take, like maybe like a pair of binoculars, it's got our logo on it, but maybe each site has a different thing, maybe it's that, and then, Arizona, it's something different. And then,
Yeah.
so, kind of like collect the whole set, right?
Oh yeah. No, there's a whole bunch of possibilities. This thing opens more doors than than when you talked about. Because I kind of recently, there's nothing on it like what you're doing out there. So when you go to glamping, like I say, you wind up with those stupid tents. Or Zeke was talking about the teepees. You can go to Indian reservations and rent teepees. It's almost as bad as going into a reservation and taking a loan out. 3,000%. I just know a guy tried to help him get out of it. No, I'm pretty excited. So that's pretty much the next steps is just get this out there to everybody that's not on here tonight. Like I said, we probably have 30 or 40 of our members that'll watch this tomorrow who weren't on tonight for whatever reason. So people have all kinds of we're the easiest group to work in. Does anybody else have anything final for Dustin while he's still here or while he's on, or we can talk about some other deals? Or I thought Ruben was on because I'm still trying to get Ruben's New York deal done. Because that's a nice area too up by West Point.
It is.
Yeah, he's right out in Newburgh, man. I was like, man, that's a beautiful area. That something like yours would be popular. I could imagine like families going to West Point that go there.
Yep.
To visit their kids. I coached high school football. 2 of our kids are at West Point now. They just went to play for Army.
Wow.
They're both going to be sophomores this year, so they got over their plebe year. So the worst, I told them the worst is behind them. But no, any of you guys have any questions, Zeke or Jedi? Cool. Yeah. I'm pretty excited about that. So I
Thanks
think
for
we
letting
can,
me share. Appreciate it.
yeah. No, I mean, you might have to, and like I said, you're welcome. We do Mondays and Thursdays, and sometimes we have different crowds. Thursday tends to be more focused on the lending side. We try to get the lenders here, unless maybe Life Changing has like 4 or 5 closings this week, so they kind of get busy. But like I said, I'm gonna get Casey and Addison on, and if I need to, I'll get Quentin Ryan, the owners. And they got, like I said, they got 200. They lend their own money. They invest their own money, but they got about 200 lending partners. So a lot of times people will come in and somebody else will just have something better, and they'll come back and say, "Hey, we got this. We'll take it," and it's a better deal than any. Everybody in our group can kind of attest that they get a lot of stuff done, that they get really creative in getting things done. It's Ruben's got a situation where he got a little credit hit, and he has to get a little help with that, and they're actually able to get him done, which is, so no one in here is like telling people they can't do things or they can't do what they want,
Yeah.
which is nice, because it's nice to be able to actually be able to go and, hey, you can feel you can get your project done. You don't have to feel like, hey, I'm just here wasting time. So let me see if we got anything else. Anybody else coming on? Zeke the chat. Do you guys have anything that you guys are working on you need help with? How's your thing, Jenny, with your wife, that project you were working on? Trying to see if I can unmute you. Yeah. Or you may be on mute by himself. All right. Yeah. So we got a lot of good stuff. I mean, I'm pretty happy. Is there like a minimum? Like, I mean, are you looking for like one single investor, or is there like a minimum that people can
So,
invest?
yeah, because it's a 506c, the minimum, you have to be accredited, and the minimum
Yeah.
is 50,000. I think our most common's been 100. We've, got a couple of 200. We've had 50s. But, we're kind of regulated there. So,
Oh
we
no,
want
we
credit.
thoroughly understand that. I was actually working on a capital 506c myself before COVID, and that's kind of what directed us into building this group, because that came out of this. We were doing a capital raise and that got crushed. I mean, literally, we got and I think I mentioned on the phone, one of my partners got stranded in Singapore.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah, so he was there for 3 weeks waiting to get up, and he had to fly. He had to fly to 2 countries to get back to the United States. Like, one country wouldn't let you fly to the United States directly, or something. It was weird.
Yeah.
So I know all the 506c rules.
Yeah.
It's
So
great.
yeah.
And
So
we got people that are accredited that'll qualify in the group.
okay.
They
Yeah, I
don't
mean,
come. They
so
don't come on a lot. We got 3 different types of people. We got people that are doing a lot of high end deals, like you're talking about, and then we got a lot of people that are just like doing flips or rental properties and stuff like that. And then we got people in the middle who just join just to get the resources and files tab. Because you got a files tab, and if you go to the guides, you'll see a lot of stuff that I have downloaded for people. Those family office and hedge fund lists, those are in files. If you actually need help, I can give those directly
okay.
by email, but you can download them. There's 7 databases in Excel and 7 in CSV. CSV will work in LinkedIn, although I believe see, I used to be able to deliver those, and they do the hedge funds and the 2 family offices. They will actually do real estate deals. And if you take them to like CSV, you only need the hedge fund, and the 2 family offices, because the pension funds and endowment funds aren't going to invest in this. But if you take the family offices and the hedge funds, if you put them into CSV, you can import them into LinkedIn, and you'll have like 2 or 3 thousand contacts within about 30 days, and they're
Yeah.
all family off. There's some family offices there that manage $1 billion. So to go ahead and take advantage of that as well.
Mhm.
If you need if you download them, but if you want me to, I can also send them directly to you.
Okay.
And they're cool. You can download them, you can research them, and you can bring them down to North America, all the continents. I mean, literally, it's awesome. So I'll help you with those. I can do that tomorrow for you too.
Okay.
So you have those, like if you have LinkedIn, but I forget which kind of account. You used to be able to just import those CSVs into general LinkedIn. Now I forget which kind of account you got to have where it does it. You can do everything manually. It's just a lot easier to dump them into CSV, and then all of a sudden you got all these friends. You know,
Yeah.
It's like, they're all hedge funds and stuff, which is nice, and they do real estate. And you go put some stuff on LinkedIn about this out there, and you a little bit of information, because you guys are comfortable, whatever you're comfortable with, it'll help you as well. So those are
Okay.
yours. I mean, literally, it would cost you about 10 grand just to get those databases that we got. So everything
Yeah.
that's in there, everything that's in files tab, you can download. And if you need to, you can bring all your partners on if you ever need to. Like I said, you're in for this is a lifetime thing. So even we'll get reindeer, you guys, as you guys are doing Bison Glacier in Arizona and all that, you guys can just, keep working with our people to fund more of them. And you're going to see some people who actually become accredited in our group over time.
Yeah.
There's some people that are really close. They just need like one or two more things to qualify. Paul Vincent's also in our group, and he's a syndication of securities attorney. So he's awesome. If you, he's really good to talk to, and he has a lot of people that are looking to invest. So you might even want to just say hi to him. I can connect you with all these people in the messenger. So
All right.
Paul,
That's
because
great.
Paul may know have a bunch of his clients that are looking to invest. He's awesome. He's really good. Him and his brother are really solid. It took us a while to get an attorney to come in because every one of them, a lot of them wanted to get like a retainer. I'll join your group, but I need a retainer.
Yeah.
So he joined, and he's trading me. He's getting some business out of the group in exchange for giving some advice.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, I'm pretty excited.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. And then if you feel like comfortable, if there's any, you want to post a presentation or post some kind of like, variation of it, just like a teaser or something, you can post it in the group as well. That helps a lot. But I'll blow it up as well. I'll make sure people know, hey, this is a good thing, and they'll see the video anyway. I can reference the video. So it'll be up about 9 o'clock my time tomorrow in
All
the
right.
morning,
Perfect.
and then I can start making all the connections. So yeah, we got some good stuff going on.
All right. Thanks, Nate.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it. I'm really glad to have gotten you in and met you, and I think I think this will be beneficial to you. Plus, it'd be kind of cool to be able to go to one of these and see.
Yeah.
I'd like to see the one in Rocky Mountains and get built since I'm close to there.
There you go.
Yeah, Montana's a little. Like I've never been. I've been to Jackson a number of times. So that's the furthest north I've been. But yeah, it'd be awesome. It'd be really cool.
Yeah.
All right, man. I'm glad. So like I said, that'll all happen in the morning. I'll get all that done for you.
All right.
That's usually I just spend about the first 2 hours at the morning after the Zoom, getting it all processed and uploaded and making connections for people.
Awesome.
So, because sometimes one time we went 3.5 hours on one of these. It's like, yeah. So, and I'll reach out to Ari as well. I told you about Ari. He's our friend from Israel. He actually lives in Florida. He's a paramedic here. He's obviously been going through a lot of stuff. Addison from Life Change is also a former IDF officer.
Yeah.
So they've kind of been not, all together happy the last 7 or 8 months.
Yeah.
So 'cause they both want to go back over. Um, they have that. So yeah, man, I appreciate it. I'll get it all done for you in the morning, and I look forward to watching you get this thing done. It's a pretty exciting project.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right, cool.
Be in
Talk
touch.
to you later.